theorem. We know what that is, but let's review it real quick. So we know that Pythagorean theorem is used to find any missing side of what kind of triangle? A right triangle. And remember, we know that it's a right triangle because it will be marked with a little square in one of the angles. That means that that is 90 degrees. Okay, and we all know that it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. All right, so A and B are our legs of our triangle, and C is going to be our hypotenuse. And remember, our hypotenuse is the one that is across from the right angle. Okay, so let's look at some examples. What do we got here? We've got our right triangle. We know that because of the square. The side across from the right angle, that is our hypotenuse, so that is C. So we can label this as A and B. And then we're just plugging it in. So we've got 8 squared plus 13 squared equals C squared. So let's do 8 squared plus 13 squared. That is 233 equals C squared. Okay. Now, to get C, or X, we need to take the square root of both sides. And this is where we need to go back to our simplifying our radicals and follow our steps, because we're not going to be putting decimal numbers, which if I took the square root of 233, it'd give me a decimal number. We are going to do the simplified version of this radical. So let's find the factors and put that underneath our radical symbol. 233. Well, 233. Our factors are just 233 and 1. So C equals the square root of 233. This is our answer. All right, same thing here. Opposite, this is our C, so this can be A and B. So we got 19.1 squared plus B squared equals 30.5 squared. So I'm going to take 30.5 squared minus 19.1 because it needs to be on that side. Minus 19.1 squared. B squared equals 565.44. These are not good examples, huh? So take the square root of both, and B equals the square root of 565.44. It's a weird number, but that's what it works out to be. All right. We've got this interesting thing, and we can figure out how to find this side based on what we're given. So remember, these little marks here mean that those are the same length. So if this one is 20, this one over here is 20. And then notice also this total length is 40. And this tells us that from here to here is 26. So I can take 40. 40 minus the 26, that's 14. And that's going to be distributed evenly over between those two. So divide by 2. This is 7. So then we've got our right triangle right here we can do the Pythagorean theorem on. One thing to note, we know that this is the right triangle because if it makes a right angle on this side, then it's a right angle on that side. This is our C, our A, and B. So we've got 7 squared plus B squared equals 20 squared. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take 20 squared minus 7 squared. So B squared is 351. And let's find our factors of 351 because I take the square root, and B is going to equal the square root of 3 times 3 times 3 times 13. We're doing square roots. We're taking groups of 2. So we got a 1, 3, and that 3 and 13, they're just going to stay underneath. So B equals 3 square root of, what's 3 times 13? 39. Okay, we're just practicing with what we've already done. You know the Pythagorean theorem. Here's a word problem. A roofer leaned a 16-foot ladder against a house. So draw your picture. Here's our house. Here's our ladder, 16 feet. If the base of the ladder is 5 feet from the house, how high is the house? So we want to find this right here. This where the house meets the ground would be a 90 degrees, so we can use our Pythagorean theorem. So try that one. So we've got some converse theories of our Pythagorean theorem that can help us determine if the triangle is an acute triangle, right triangle, or an obtuse triangle. So if our Pythagorean theorem works out, if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then we know we have a right triangle. If it doesn't work out, if a squared plus b squared is greater than c squared, then we've got an acute triangle. And finally, if a squared plus b squared is less than c squared, then we've got an obtuse triangle. Okay, let's look at some examples. First, we want to determine, is this a triangle at all? Remember what has to be true for a triangle. The two smaller sides have to add to be greater than 9. The two smaller sides have to add to be greater than that third side. So 3 plus 7, 10 is greater than 9. It is a triangle. Okay, so now let's figure out if it's right, obtuse, or acute. The longer side is always going to be your C. So then that's going to be A and B. So we've got 3 squared plus 7 squared equals 58. And 9 squared equals 81. So we've got 58 and 81. 58 is less than 81. So our A squared plus B squared is less than our C squared. So we've got an obtuse. All right. Is this a triangle or not? First and foremost, 20 plus 21, is that greater than 29? Well, that adds to 41, that's greater than 29, so yes, it is a triangle. Remember, the larger one is always your C. This is AB. 20 squared plus 21 squared equals 841. 29 squared also equals 841. So our A squared plus B squared is equal to our C squared. So we have a right triangle. All right, let me know if you have any questions.